Welcome back to SwiftCat Code Factory. In this video tutorial, I would like to show about Firebase in iOS. It's nothing but we are going to do here is a CRUD operation, which is of create, read, update and delete the data in Firebase. So in order to do that, let's start a project. This is of a new Xcode project. I'm going to name it as Firebase. Say Fire demo. So I'm creating a project in my desktop, and first of all, I'm not going to use here SwiftUI, so I'm going to delete the scene file from my Xcode, and from file demo in info I'm going to delete this application scene manifest, which I am not going to use here, and from my app delegate and deleting these all files. This is all because I'm not using SwiftUI. I'm just using the basic storyboard and other stuffs. Alright, so in order to do our Firebase, let's go to our browser and check for Firebase.com. Alright, so if you have not yet signed, just sign up with that, and after creating your account there, go to the console. I'm going to add a new project which is called Fire Demo. Continue, and let's say continue again. Demo. So you can put your CTA whatever. Let's say USL, and check here the terms and agreements and say create a project. So this is creating a project for you in Firebase demo, and meanwhile what I'm going to do here is let's check about the storyboard. There's nothing over here. I'm going to create here a username and password text fields and other stuffs. Before that, let's register this app in Firebase demo. So I just copy this bundle identifier with me and take a look back in my Firebase console. It's finishing up the project. Continue. So I have here the Fire demo, so click on that. So I'm going to use here iOS app. So they're asking for the bundle ID. Its bundle ID is nothing but it's your identifier in your project. So I'm just copying it over and paste it over here. Then let's give some name as your wish. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to name here as Fire Demo. App Store ID, if you have an App Store ID you can give it, but I'm skipping that one, and just click the register file, and here it asks for download the Google service info playlist. So I'm going to download this and save it to my desktop wherever you like, and I'm going to say click next. Alright, so I have saved here this Google playlist file in my desktop. So what I'm going to do is I'm just clicking over here and dragging into my project, and check it, look at our destination, added folders, all check mark, and click finish. Alright, then the next step is we need to install the code and other stuffs. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to open a terminal for myself. Terminal. So type cd space the path of the project. So I have here a file demo, so I'm dragging it over here and say pod in it. Then, so a pod file will be created inside your folder. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to copy this whole and add it over here. Save it. Then go back to the terminal and say pod install. So meanwhile, I'll close this project and go to the Firebase console and click next. The next step is if we are using the Swift project, we're going to import this Firebase and this Firebase configure in our app delegate. So in order to do that, once the pod installation is finished, open your project with the XC workspace, then go to your app delegate file, and what I'm going to do is, copy this import Firebase. You can add it over here, and copy this Firebase configure as well, and you can paste it over here. That's it. We will run with the simulator, and let's do registration with that. So alright, I'm running it to configure. It may take a few moments. That's it. I'm going to click next. So Firebase is checking with the app have communicated with their servers. So we just need to build and run this app so that it will be registered by itself. That's what we're going to do here. It's build succeed. Let's check with Firebase. Now the Firebase have been added to my console, so my app have been registered, so I can click continue to console. So here comes my database authentication storage and all the stuff. Reduce the length of the video. I have given a completed source code link in my description. You can check below. You can find a Safari link which is having my GitHub's completed source code. So I'm gonna copy all the files into my Firebase demo project, and I'll explain you how gonna work about this operation. So before that, I'm gonna add one more board file, which is of board Firebase Firestore. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to open my terminal and add this file project and install my board. It's gonna install the stuff. Meanwhile, I have something like a few codes files which we need in our project. So let's create those files. So first of all, I'm going to create a file which is of type Swift file, and name it as alert service. Sorry, it crashed. Here I have completed my pod installation, so I'm gonna open the Firebase demo project, and I would like to add a few files. It crashed before, and I'm opening it again after the pod installation. So let's create some files which you required for support. So new file which is a Swift file. I'm going to name it as alert service. Great. So inside the source description you can find this file name alert service. So I'm gonna copy the whole code as it is. into my alert service file. Then I will make another Swift file which is called users file. I will explain you why I'm adding all these and what I'm gonna do later on. As you can see here, Swift user.swift file. I'm going to copy this. Then I will add another one file which is called encodable extension. So new file, encodable extension. And Firebase collection reference.swift file. This is the for enum string collection for the user. The last one is the most important, which is of a Firestore service, which act as the main file. So it's a Firebase Firestore service. So click on Firestore service.zip file and just copy the codes. Alright. Then come to your storyboard main.storyboard file. What I'm going to do is I'm going to delete my view controller and add one table view controller instead. And I will connect with the navigation controller. Delete the cell file. I'm going to name it as user. Instead, the navigation item, I would like to add one nav button. Let's add, possibly you can type plus something else. Alright, so let's go to the assistant file, which is of a view controller. So here I'm going to add this my view controller as table view controller. So you can go to the view controller over here and change to as table UI table view controller. Alright, then come back to storyboard, connect this file with table view controller. So here we're gonna make a table view which is having a plus button in which the user can add some details like a name or age, whatever it is. So by this way the data can be added, or with that the data can be received and fetched as well, and we can update and delete in this table view controller. That's what it means. And if you're taking a look at about the files which I have added now, this is alert service.zip file which is having alert controller, which is adding a add user, which is having a name, age, and a subtitle called add. And then I have a static function which is for update, and this is having a static function for adding user. This is about the update of static user, which is if in case we need to update the name or username or age, whatever details, we can update it over here. That's for it works as an alert control which is of alert action. Then I have a user.zip file which is having a self.name, which is having struct user codable with 2 strings, which is having a var id. It's an automatic created, and in it we have a name and age of a particular user. Then encodable extension.zip file which acts as a JSON encoder, which is having JSON object. So I'm going to try here the JSON object as JSON serialization, and to get the key and to return the JSON encoding error as well. The last and second last I mean, which is having the NMFIR collection reference, which is having a string of case users, which is collecting the data as an NM. The last one I have is Firebase Firestore service. This is the main thing which I have configuring the Firebase app with main this Firestore service, then returning the Firebase collection with drop value. Then I have if you need, this is the function which I added to create the data into our database, which means Firebase database, which is having add document of data of JSON, which is that particular data will be gone to the will be receiving in the particular ID with the name and the age, the data I mean. Then I have like a func read, which is having to read the data, to receive. Once we add the data, we need to receive the data. That's a function which I use here at func read. Then have a function for update, which is having if we need to update a particular function or whatever, we can update over here. And the last one is having function with delete. So this is gonna delete the data which we entered if in case we don't require. Alright. Then come back to the app delegate.zip file. So I have made here Firebase Firestore service.zip file. So instead of this Firebase app.configure, I'm gonna change this as FAR Firestore service.share.configure. Then let's come back to the main.storyboard file. So I have here a plus button. I'm going to create an outlet for it and name it as on add tapped. Let's make this vController more space. Alright, so first what I'm going to do is I'm going to create var users is equal to user file. Then in view.load, what I'm going to do is I'm going to call this Firebase Firestore service dot shared dot read the data which is having the store reference. So the data is from dot user and users, and it's gonna return the user dot zip file self, then in completion I'm going to write self dot users, or let's say let's close this, and I'm going to add for a users for users in self dot users will be equal to users. Then I have self dot table view to reload the data which is having my user file. So I'm going to type this as self dot table view dot reload data. Then I have here let's go to my storyboard and check whether I have my table view delegate, and data source is added. Alright, and this view controller which is having my alright, that's fine. Come back to this view controller, and on tapped what I'm going to do is alert service. So I'm going to call the alert service which is having add user and update user file. So inside here I'm going to add in which is having self value, and then user will be in Firebase Firestore service dot shared dot create a new data which is having encoded value for user in dot users. That's for my when the button is gonna tap, say table view. Alright, then I'm going to call my number of rows and all the stuffs inside this. So override func table view number of rows in section, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna return the number of users which we have. Suppose if I have added too many users, I need to call the data according to that. Then I'm gonna overwrite with a table view number of self overwrite table view for self overwrite. Then here I'm going to call I have deleted the cells from my table view controller, so I'm gonna create here as a table view with the cell. So UI table view cell with of style dot subtitle with a reusable identifier as nil. Then let the user is equal to users of index path dot row. Then cell dot text label dot text will be equal to user dot name, and then I need to add one more data as well. So cell dot detail text label dot text will be of string user dot of age kind, and then I'm gonna return the cell. So take a look at our on here, the users, which is having a var function. I'm calling it as an array. So inside that I have the data which need for name, and then I have with the user with age as well. That's what it does. Then let's do the rest. So I'm going to write override func table view did select row at and here what I'm going to do is let the user called users of index path dot row. You may be wondering what this did select gonna do. So it's nothing but I'm calling the alert service with update function in this table view. So update user in dot self so here is updater user update user. Update user in Firebase Firestore service dot shared dot update for updated user in dot users file. Then last I'm going to override func table view editing style commit cell editing style. In this one I'm going to call a got function. Editing style will be log dot delete else return, and then let users will be like users of index path dot row. And then I'm going to call the Firebase store service dot shared. Here it's delete function happening, so gonna write delete in the identifier which is user, and it is inside this dot users file. So take a look at what we have done into by selecting a simulator. So it's nothing but you can simply call this is the main file which is having Firestore service, and I'm calling this in my app delegate as Firestore service.share.configure. If in case if we are using in a different way, you can just simply write the functions for read, create and all these stuff, and you can call it with the data whenever you require. That's how it works. So let's wait for the build. I have one error which is showing that I forgot to add one file which is for Xcode. So what I'm going to do here is I'm gonna make a new file which is of Swift file. Let snapshot extension. So what I'm going to do is I have the source code which I created, which is for the extension for a document snapshot, which is of func decode. So in this, that document JSON will be included with the ID, and they are doing the JSON serialization with the data and all those stuffs. Let's say okay, wrap, and shall we run it and check? It's gonna take a little bit of time for the build. We have is it's a build is succeed, and then here's the plus button. I'm going to add the user. Let's name as Dave of age 30. I'm going to tap add. This data is over here. So if you want to update something else like age or whatever, I can make it as a 40 and say it's updated. And if I want to delete, I can delete as well. I will add one more data which is of Ken of age 18 and add. And then if I want to update, I can update as well. If I want to delete the data, I can delete as well. If I run again, this data will be read again. So that's how it works, like in Firebase. Yeah, this data is deleted. That's all in this video. I made this video in a quick because if I are going to type out all the codes, it will take more than 1 hour. That's why I use source code instead of typing it all, so it will reduce the time. That's all in this video tutorial. Thanks for watching.